Welcome back, ladies and gents. Gotta give me here back with another video. So today we're going to be talking about our favorite baby mommy, Mauvika. Now obviously today's video is just going to focus more on how to enable you as a free-to-play player or just generally a general player to be able to hit those big damage numbers that Mauvika or that you're seeing on YouTube from every other single creator hitting obviously on their servers. Obviously Mauvika is such an amazing character even from a free-to-play perspective, and this video is going to be specifically for you to be able to hit those numbers. So obviously as we start, Mauvika, true DPS. If you want to have, or if you are a free-to-play player at any point in time of the game and you want to have that one DPS that is hitting more than 100,000, you don't have a Nouvellette, you probably don't have a Hu Tao, then this is the best character for you. So obviously as we're starting our main team right now, and the bread and butter team for me right now is going to be obviously Citlali, Mauvika, Diona and Bennett. This team specifically is actually going to be one of the best for me right now, that's enabling Mauvika to hit numbers close to 1.6, 1.4 million, 1.5 million. Now obviously if you had a Shilonen on this spot here where Diona is, there could be even more shred from the pyro resistance that she obviously, or the pyro shred that she obviously gives the enemy. So the most optimal team right now actually for Mauvika is having Citlali, Mauvika, Shilonen and Bennett. But in this point in time, let's say you don't have Shilonen, Diona is actually going to be one of your best characters. So but obviously this video is going to be for you to obviously see the difference between a free-to-play perspective and a general sort of kind of well-built team perspective, because I feel that Hoyoverse of late has more focused on building teams rather than building characters just to pop onto any other single team. This is how my Mauvika is hitting at the moment. Obviously you've ulted Bennett, ulted Diona, ult with Citlali, and then you skill with her. Make sure that the cryo application is at the top, and then you just ult with Mauvika, and then boom, 1.3, or rather 1 million in general. Now obviously that was without Mauvika's skill in place. We're also now going to do it with Mauvika's skill in place. You can actually see the difference when her skill is up and when you just go for the full rotation without activating Mauvika's skill. But the most important thing that you want to know is that you always have to have that cryo application on the enemy for you to be able to deal damage numbers, because the main gist of her damage comes from the fact that she melts the enemy using her pyro application. If you don't have that, then that's basically what stops it from actually hitting a really big number. Most of the time then you just be hitting a pyro damage number rather than a melt or reaction number. The way you want to know that Mauvika has her full ult stack is by looking at her ring. She will have then like an additional 3 at the middle. So there's the outer bit, the inner bit, and then a circular version right there in the middle. That's how you know that she is at her full stack damage capacity for our ultimate. So in that case, let me show you what she's actually going to deal. So we dealt about 1 million on the last case. This is what we're going to do now on the next case specifically here. So we go with Bennett, Diona, Mauvika, make sure the cry application is in, and then we go 1.5. So the way you want to know whether Mauvika is going to be able to deal that max damage is seeing her ring in the middle of her this one, and if it has an animation sort of in the middle of the ring, then you know you are at max damage capacity. Now obviously you're probably thinking, right, should I pop my skill for Mauvika prior to obviously starting the damage rotation? So I'm going to show you now what it looks like when you actually start a damage rotation with Mauvika's skill in place. So I'll obviously do that, go back to Bennett, go back to Citlali. So now we are at max damage capacity, as you can see. What we're going to do is we're going to Bennett, Diona, Citlali, and then we are going to 1.6. So that was obviously with the skill up sort of right before the ultimate. It went off because then it did not remove the cryo application, and that's how you enable. Again, when her skill is up, there is a damage or a pyro or defense decrease into the enemy, which helps you deal more damage. So obviously now we've played with obviously Citlali and Diona. Now let's see what happens when we remove Citlali and we have another cryo applicator. Now the best cryo applicator for me in this team or this account specifically would probably be either my Chi-Chi or my Rosaria. So I'm going to go with my Rosaria because obviously she is more of a crit rate buffer, and that obviously helps with Mauvika being able to hit those damage numbers. So we're going to start again. We're going to obviously build up her stacks, go back into the enemy, and then see what she can actually do in terms of her damage numbers. So let's see. Okay, so we have now built our obviously energy, and now we are at max damage capacity with Mauvika, as you can see by the 3 rings around obviously my Diona. But in general, this is how it looks when you know 100% you are at max damage capacity. So we're going to do a full rotation. We're not going to skill with Mauvika, we're just going to go for the damage rotation generally. So obviously we want to again Bennett's ult, and then Diona, Rosaria, and then cryo application is there. We just do Mauvika, 784,000. So as you can see, there's a lot of there's a majority of it, there's a bit of a damage fall off, but I will not lie, it's not that bad, because if you're not used to this type of damage, 784,000 from a free-to-play perspective is going to be one of your best numbers in the game so far. So what we're going to do now is going to go back and we're going to test it once we have our skill. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop our skill first, and then we're going to do the whole damage rotation, so you can see how much that deals when you have the Mauvika skill up prior to actually dealing or obviously playing the whole damage rotation. So I'm just gonna also here, so I'm gonna skill Bennett, Diona, Rosaria, and then 794, still the same, right? And we also had obviously Mauvika's skill on, well, or rather it ended. So our max damage cap right there from a free-to-play perspective with the free-to-play team is actually going to be about 784 to 800,000. So that's where the damage cap is. Okay, that's pretty much it. So another team you could actually try is in the event, let's say you have a Citlali, and this is actually really works. So let's say you have a Citlali and your Mauvika doesn't have her weapon, and depending on what weapon obviously you've gotten from playing the game on general occasion, let's say you have a very free-to-play weapon. So in this case, let's say, because this is built off crit rates, so the best maybe example or free-to-play example would be this weapon here. So let's use this, right? We're going to build up some stacks, and let's see how much damage obviously Mauvika deals with a completely free-to-play weapon with Citlali, and then we will go from there. Okay, so to note again, always remember when you look at the ring on Mauvika's back, she has to have 3 rings for you to know that you are at max damage capacity. If there are no 3 rings, that means you are not at max damage capacity. So good example, now we are at max damage capacity. See, 3 rings, right? So I'm gonna Bennett, I'm going to Diona, and then I'm going to Citlali, and I'm going to ult with Citlali. I'm going to wait for that cryo application, and then 1.2. So that is a completely free to play perspective if you have obviously Mauvika with a general free to play weapon, which you can get either from the gacha because probably someone has gotten this weapon from the battle pass. We can actually even go for another weapon. Let's see if we can try. We actually haven't built up this weapon. We haven't built up a lot of claymores, to be honest, because I was very lucky in my pulls majority of the time. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to try with this weapon, because I know this is 100% free to play. Okay, so we are probably almost at full stack, so we just need to see that the 3 actions or the 3 rings are actually circulating inside the ring. That's how you know you are going to be at max damage capacity. If you do it before, you'll still deal damage, but you know, it's kind of, there's a given where that there's a defense reduction that you get. So in that case, it's there. So we go boom, 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 melts. About 417 with a 4/4 constant hit. Alright, and that's pretty much it. So, you know, if you want to play Mauvika, I think the best option for you, obviously, I know it's going to be hard, but the best option for you will probably always to try and get her weapon. All right, if you want to play with a team that's not Melt, majority of the time you're not going to be able to deal those really big numbers, but at that point she just mostly becomes sub DPS. A good example is that, for example, if I have, let's say, a Zhongli, or let's say you don't have a Zhongli, you still have a Diona, but 100% you probably have maybe a Farina, or even let's go more free to play. We can probably even go, let's say, Qingxi, right? And let's say you want to go Raiden, because probably every single person has the probability of people having Raiden is really high. So this is a very good team, but the only problem is that you're not going to be able to deal that one big instant hit of damage, because this team becomes now more of a general sort of consistent hit basis team. So you're not going to be hitting really big numbers off the bat. You're just going to be hitting numbers as you obviously kill the boss. So it's more of a rotation. It's not more of an alt rotation to deal one big hit of damage. It's just more of constant damage that completely whittles down the boss to be able for you to be able to obviously deal really good amount of this general damage. So if let's say I go here, I go here, and then I probably go Raiden, right? And I am going to obviously now go with, as you can see, and then I go alt, about 438. She'll still deal damage, but it's now more on a constant kind of hit basis. And plus, I don't think you obviously get Qingxi's buff of constant water hits when you are playing with Mauvika, because her bread and butter of her combo is basically the donuts, right? And that's pretty much it. So again, I think the most optimal team right now in general for Mauvika is actually going to be having Citlali and then having a Shilonin or another cryo applicator in this case. Obviously Shilonin being Geo, but the whole essence of Shilonin is being able to shred the resistance of the enemies as quickly as possible, enabling Mauvika and Citlali and Bennett to deal that one instant hit of mega big dick damage basically. And that's pretty much it. So this is my team right now. I've been able to clear out everything, close to about generally even all the content for the game. I've never been able to clear out, you know, things like the Abyssal, because I had good teams but they were not able to clear it out as fast as possible. But being able to have this and clear it out was such an amazing feat for me, especially after getting Mauvika and Citlali, which was very lucky. And you can look at the video, completely free to play, saved up for about like 7 months, I was very lucky, got C2 for both of them, got the weapons, and I was actually very ecstatic. I was able to get obviously the all rewards from the theater, from this game mode here, Imaginarium Theater. I was able to get every single Primo Gem and every single gift. For the first time in my life, I was actually even able to go past this point of rounds 9 and 10, or theater 9 and 10, and actually finish off and complete that section. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking to get Mauvika, then 100% I will not lie, I think you should. She is an amazing character, and Hoyoverse is kind of gearing up the game now where you need to build a team rather than a character for them to be able to perform optimally. And I can tell you now, if you're able to invest in Mauvika and have, let's say, Shilonin and a Citlali, which is going to be very hard, but if you save enough, if you're patient enough, then 100% you'll be able to get the character. You'll be able to obviously get that big dick damage that you'll be looking for. And with that said, I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you all in the next one.